The experiment was meant with a specific purpose to exploit the high repetition rate of modern laser facilities like VEGA in order to trigger proton-boron 11 nuclear fusion reactions in a scheme different from the one usually performed so far, so with one-shot, very energetic lasers like pulse and so on. The idea in this case is since we have a lot of less energetic shots, in principle we can have better diagnostics, and also with the high number of shots increase the probable number of alpha particles. The idea is to exploit important different diagnostics, for example nuclear activation, for example CR39, Thomson spectrometry, time-of-flight detectors, also for neutrons in some cases. This was the main reason why we needed a large number of people to be involved with different expertises in this experiment. Specifically, one of the purposes of the experiment was, as mentioned, the production of radionuclide, also for medical applications, but specifically in this case for as a powerful diagnostic methodology. Okay. Well, this is not an experiment which was born just before of the proposal. We have a very long-standing experience in proton-boron interaction, and specifically we have participated to several campaigns with a very energetic level, and we know all the problems of the diagnostics. We are one of the groups which are more expert in, say, in proton-boron diagnostics, so we are aware of that. We have already had a previous experiment at Eclipse Laser at CLPU with at least two methodologies that we proposed here, but the energy was definitely much lower, 100 millijoule femtosecond. So the idea was to exploit the much higher energy of the VEGA laser and at the same time to make use of the diagnostics that I have developed and tested in the previous campaign. But we wanted to enrich the diagnostic set, also thinking about modeling, and for this reason electronic spectrometers were also used in order to have an idea of the plasma that produced the interaction in case of in-target experiment, because there were two schemes, or in case of course, a picture catcher, so you produce a proton beam that is interacting with the boron, in this case with a lot of particle diagnostics, proton diagnostics specifically. In this case, the large number of diagnostics required, because it was the first experiment of this type, this is important. When you are the first to make something, of course what happens is that you want to understand what's going on, you want to have, if possible, the largest number of diagnostics. Then maybe at the end you understand that some of them are not needed, and then you can make a choice or to understand which is the actual more important. Okay? In the second campaign, a number of diagnostics was lower. It was easier also probably to be managed, but then more focus probably on one of the outputs instead of the full paramount. It was not so easy to deal with so many different groups with different expertises. As API of the experiment, of course, it was a pleasure from one side, because of course we know each other with all these people, but it was not, let's say, the easiest task to be able to coordinate all of these people. But we are glad to say that the experiment was successful, and we are working now on papers, on report and then papers for publication. So we are very glad for that. There was, of course, the CLPU group, the University of Texas, the Italian INFN, specifically with Laboratori Nazionali del Sud. There was the group from Czech Republic, from Pulse, the group from Eli Beamline, the group from University of Belfast, the group from University of Tor Vergata, and I think, yeah, that's mostly it.
Yeah, but
And of course, the group from
from us,
CLPU,
yes,
VEGA
from
Free,
CLPU,
because
yeah.
you were not only laser provider, but included in the collaboration. The experiment had also a follow-up, much shorter, it was 1 week. In this case, I was not formally the PI, but we were involved, and it was then in March for 1 week. And then we have submitted a proposal to Eli Beamline, which was accepted, thanks also to the preliminary results that were obtained. It is one of the it is the first call for Eli L3, which is similar to VEGA Free, and they will be in the next year. So this is one follow-up, and we will let you know for future ones.